I was so dumb, but I hopped on a plane, almost drove right back to the 541. Shitty U-turn on the freeway, you turn me from a fiend to a way to you fun. I can wait in the sun for a little, but it's been real gray, and tonight it's a nice C1. I can wait in the cold for a while at the...
Welcome to the podcast, everybody. I'm Alex at TSB Pod. He is King at Geromny. He is Ski at TSB Ski. Tweet at one of us. Post at one of us on X if you still have that. We're also on Instagram and Threads as the Sports Brewery Podcast. If you want to be one of, we have 6 people who follow us on Threads. We have significantly more on Instagram. So we're
threading.
We're threading. We're a meme centric podcast on the IG. So get on the IG, check out some dank memes about the Ducks and like them, heart them. You heart them. That's what you do. I know that. Instagram's the only one I really use. We're also on Facebook, though. The Sports Brewery on Facebook. Post stuff on there. What else? Twitch.tv.
Get our hot January 6th takes on Facebook.
Yeah. That's all on Facebook. Yeah. Twitch.tv/abrag87, ABRAWG87. We're on Twitch every Wednesday or Thursday around 7:30 or so to do the live sports podcast. So if you want to get in the chat, join us there. Have the fun. It's the fun. What else? YouTube. I post stuff on YouTube. Jesus, guys, there's too many fucking things. Not enough time in the week for all of this podcasting, you guys.
Got to diversify.
Diversify your bonds. Jesus. Okay, so by the way, before we started, Ski let me know that we got a complaint from a listener that the intro music is too short. So I'm not going to change that because I edited it a long time ago and it's going to be the same every single time. But the guy who does it is in Oregon. Like I used to work with the guy. He lives up in Portland now. His name is Hans. He's at Truly Hans on everything. So you can buy his album. He's on Spotify and stuff. Just buy his album. Give him some ducats if you want to listen to more of his music. He's great.
We have an introductory music.
We do. Yeah. No, when I edit everything. Yeah. You guys don't know this, but when we're done recording and doing all of this, I spend like an hour or two editing after. Yeah, and uploading and all that good stuff. So yeah. By the way, if anybody wants to like sponsor us, hit us up. One of those things I told you about earlier, We are all about supporting local business. So get at us.
Yeah. We have 6 followers on Threads.
On Threads. We will promote you to all 6 of those.
In fairness, rollers. That might be a pretty high follower count on Threads.
That is true.
I feel like there was a 24-hour period where people joined Threads, a 36-hour period where people messed around with Threads, and then it went away.
Yeah, basically. And remember, it's tied to Instagram. So if you didn't already have an Instagram account, which we did not, then it's everybody who previously followed you on Instagram who follows you on Threads, because otherwise they don't know about you unless you talk about it on a podcast. So here we are, man. Booble says he bets my girlfriend does the editing.
You have a girlfriend?
It's a good joke.
Right?
It's a good joke. Remember, because she helped with the AC? Yeah, okay. Anyway. So, anything happened this week?
I don't know. I missed some things.
Yeah. If you were like out of town for a few days, by the way, Oregon and Washington are in the Big Ten now. Let's see, Utah, the Arizona schools, Colorado, they're in the Big 12, and Oregon State and Washington State and the Bay Area schools are in the Pac-4.
Pac-4, baby.
Pac-4.
Oregon State, you're losers! You're fucking losers! You losers! Enjoy Ogden, Utah, you losers! Enjoy Albuquerque, New Mexico, Beeves, you losers! Have fun in Fort Collins losing at altitude, you're losers! Losers! I feel bad for Wazoo.
If there's a fan base who's not taking this well, it is Oregon State. And by the way, USC too, for some reason.
Well, USC doesn't like Oregon. I get it. They compete.
Very soft of USC.
But the Oregonian beat writer for the Beavs is like, Nick Daschle, loser. Nick
Big
Daschle, you're a loser. And I hate saying it, but they're all losers. The entire fan base, losers. Beef Twitter is just 4chan for Las Vegas Bowl champions. You're losers. I know Oregon State fans in real life. I've worked with Oregon State fans in real life.
Yeah.
They know their place for the most part.
Yes.
But Oregon State fans that have internet access, losers. You're losers. You beat a 6-6 Florida team that had 50 opt-outs in a bowl in the Las Vegas Bowl this year. They finished 6-7, and that's your second best season ever as a program. You're losers. Enjoy the Mountain West, Oregon State. You're fucking losers. Oregon enjoy going 7-5 in the Big Ten every year. Oh yeah, as an Oregon fan, I've never seen Oregon beat. Oh, I don't know, Purdue. Okay, I've never seen him beat. Oh, I don't know, Nebraska. I've never seen Oregon beat. I don't know. Let's just for shits and giggles, Minnesota, Michigan State. I've never seen them beat Michigan. I sure as hell have never seen the Ducks walk into Columbus on big nude Saturday at 9 a.m. on the body clock and beat Ryan Day, CJ Stroud, Jackson Smith-Njigba, Marvin Harrison Jr., the other guy for the Jets. I've never seen it. Oh, we'll go 6-0. Losers. Eat it. Eat toes, you losers. Eat toe jam from your neighbor, you fucking losers. I hope your life is miserable forever. Forever. You losers online. We're never going to play you again in football, and that's because we're so tough. We don't need to play you. We're rich now, you losers.
I bet you will. I bet you will play Oregon again.
If they want to.
I bet you will. If Oregon wants to play you again.
Exactly. That's my favorite thing. Is they're like, well, we're not going to do them the courtesy of playing them. Enjoy your trip to Piscataway. Okay.
Yeah.
You want to know what they'll do instead? They'll just play like Washington State or Fresno State or San Jose State or Colorado State or New Mexico. You want to know why? Because you're in the same league now. Maybe not yet because no one wants you. You losers.
I love
losers.
that. I love that narrative, by the way. It's like, oh, you
and then, hey, time out. Joe Beaver. I'm not talking.
Yeah, Beaver Joe, not you, baby.
He knows that.
There are sane, realistic Beaver fans out there, but like you said,
no doubt,
they don't have a keyboard in front of them.
Yes, no, they're not on Twitter or X. They're not on X. Yeah.
Please don't ever say that. Just call it Twitter, please.
Okay, thank you. No, I appreciate it.
I've still refused to update it, so I'm still rocking Twitter.
You're the number 4 Oregon Twitter follow, so you giving me permission to keep calling it Twitter, I'm cool with that. But I love the narrative that traveling to New Jersey is a bad thing, or like traveling to play Northwestern is a bad thing. Like those are trips.
Great.
Those are trips to like New York and Chicago. Like, what are we talking about? Yes, we're talking about like college students going on a really long flight, 2 really long flights. I get it. Like, I understand what you're saying, but also let's not act like they're not traveling all the time, anyways. Like look at a baseball team. They travel like every day. They're traveling. You know what I mean? Like. What are we talking about here? Like, the life of a college athlete is traveling and doing homework with tutors on the bus or in a hotel room. That's what they do. That's part of the gig. So yes, they're flying really far. Yes, it's not ideal, I guess, but you're telling me flying to Chicago and New York's a bad thing? Hell no.
This football. This is once a week for 6 games. The bigger one's going to be basketball. Might have to do it. They do it 2 times a week.
Exactly.
You might have them, multiple trips out to the East Coast in a 2-week span.
That's why the Big Ten adding the schools that they just added is a big deal because it can at the very least limit that to where they can maneuver the scheduling enough to where they won't need to do that as much.
Well,
But
that's why Iowa can't be too bad. I mean,
but like the thing is like going forward, right?
It's the Midwest.
So once the schedule kind of gets itself worked out, maybe a couple years are choppy because non-conference, blah blah blah.
Like they're not doing connecting flights like we do. You know?
Yes. Aside from the fact that they charter fucking flights in football, is 3 games a year. Oregon in football. We're just talking football. We'll play Washington, USC, and UCLA. They're going to play those 3 every single year and make sense for all 4 schools to play each other. By the way,
I fucking love that so much.
So there's 3, right? Then there's going to be
real quick. I hated not playing one of those schools every year. Like I want to play UCLA and USC every year. I want that. I've always wanted that. Like I understand like not wanting to play one of the best teams, which USC is they are this year. But fuck it, man. It's USC. This was the problem with the Pac-12 is like you had like 3 good teams you could play every year, and if you didn't show up and lost, that was it. So
that's the SEC motto. You see why it works and why other conferences adopted it.
Totally.
Don't your better teams against each other 3 times.
Well, yeah. That's kind of thing is so. Let me kind of take a loop before I get to my point.
Give me Purdue every year, baby.
So everyone is saying, hey, Oregon, enjoy going 7-5 every year. Okay, this is a schedule in the Big Ten this year. This is a
don't do Northwestern schedule.
That is what. Okay.
Do not bring up Northwestern.
Rutgers, home UTEP, at Duke, Minnesota, Penn State. Right, that's a good team.
Are they?
Howard. A historically black college at home in October. At Nebraska, please. The last time Nebraska had a winning season, Mike Riley was on the sidelines, and Mark Helfrich was going for 2 after 7 straight fucking touchdowns for no goddamn reason. And if he didn't do it just once, they win the goddamn game. It's been a long time. Maryland, Iowa. Iowa's an internet meme. They play good defense. We can say that, but
great defense even.
At Wisconsin. Hey, that's a tough team. I mean, I've seen my team go 2-0 against Wisconsin in Rose Bowls, but whatever. Purdue at Illinois.
Iowa plays really good defense against really bad Big Ten teams. Okay, go ahead.
But that's my so that's my thing is like people are like, people are acting like they're gonna play Ohio State, Michigan, Penn State, Wisconsin every year, USC and Washington. So those 6 teams in a row every year. Like that just isn't going to happen. And
there's too
with
many
the travel
schools.
stuff, yes, that's the thing. It's the SEC. It's art. It creates an illusion. And,
here you go. Well, before
but the thing is, go ahead.
So you're saying like that. So here's a good team. Here's Ohio State schedule. This is a good team in the conference.
A legit team. No disputes.
At Indiana, home against Youngstown State, home against Western Kentucky, at Notre Dame. All right, that's a tough one. Home against Maryland, at Purdue, home against Penn State, at Wisconsin, at Rutgers, home against Michigan State, Minnesota, and then at Michigan. So that's a tough schedule for the Big Ten right there. And it's not, they could have 1 loss on that schedule.
Oh, And the thing is like with the travel stuff, like I was saying, they're going to play the 3 West Coast teams, right? And they're going to have 3 non-conference games. It's entirely possible now that once they venture into the Big Ten, they don't play that road game at Texas Tech. They don't make that wonky road trip to wherever. They could have 3 straight road games against teams that are flatly not great. Okay? So that's 6 games on the West Coast right there before you get into whether it's Ohio State, Michigan, Rutgers, Maryland, whoever. They're going to play like 8 or 9 games on the West Coast every year, unless there's that year where there's a schedule quirk, of course, and you're just like, okay, well, every 8th year, okay, it just is kind of going to happen. But people
Get
are
that
throw in,
Chiefs-
they
you get
throw
that
in
Chiefs schedule every now and then.
Maryland in like week 5 or something. Yeah.
But people are acting like they're going to be sent to and like we were saying last week, and it's kind of borne out if you read stuff. The Big Ten is going to be really hesitant to send. And again, this isn't great because it means you go out there more, but they're going to be hesitant to send Ohio State, Michigan, and Penn State west. They don't want to do it that often. So you're going to have to go out there more often than they come here, but that also creates that weird divide where you don't play them every year. Like there's like we were saying last week, there's going to be that every 5th year where, yeah, you're fucked. You go to USC, you host Ohio State, you go to Michigan, Wisconsin comes here, you go to Penn State. That 5 weeks, terrible. Okay, go 8-4, 9-3, cross your fingers. But year after year, when you expand the conference, like we were saying, that's why Alabama and Georgia don't play ever. It's a funny little thing that conferences can do, and it's smart.
Yeah,
and
so
USC will be at the top of that totem pole on the West Coast, protected. But Oregon will be 2. Oregon's going to be 2.
No,
is Washington and UCLA going to be the hard luck West Coast teams?
I was just going to say that. Like,
maybe
this sure feels like UCLA is about to get fucked, doesn't it? Like Michigan, or like the one time they travel west, it's gonna be to play UCLA. Like they're not.
Kind of feels like it.
Yeah, they're not playing Oregon or Washington or USC.
And it won't be late because if you just look even historically at the Big Ten, like Ohio State and Michigan didn't even install lights.
Yeah.
On their stadium until like 10 years ago.
Yeah, remember when the Big House installed lights, dude?
It's a huge deal. Like I'm raising my hand, chief number 1. I hate our winter weather. No, November, not really winter, but you get what I'm saying. We don't get snow. It does not. We aren't wrapping pipes here. Hey, baby, in November, like they are in Michigan and Ohio and Pennsylvania. Like it is different. And so they don't want to play those games anywhere. And that's good for us.
Is a big thing. Is this just the kind of convoluted Big Ten fan thinking their whole conference as a whole is dominant? Because there's a big part I saw of, we're going to add all these teams. A lot of talking heads were saying, we need to start getting rid of some teams out of some of these bigger conferences. It's never going to happen. But when you look at these teams, they have no business being in this conference.
Well, I think and I'm not alone. I'm not breaking like news here. The next iteration would probably be where you phase out the Purdue's and the Northwesterns, because at that point you would expand the playoff and you make it more of an NFL thing where losses aren't quite punitive like they are now. So you match up all these really good games, and if a team goes 9-3, they could still be ranked. This would be the 9 seed, if that makes sense.
So this would be like a 2 major conference kind of NCAA is at this point. Yeah, because I don't see them breaking it up unless they do, like I said, 2 super conferences. Then you just trim the dead weight.
Man, trimming dead weight isn't like when we reach that point where conferences are, they've added so many teams to where it's like, okay, now we can be selective and drop schools that have been members of these conferences. Man, that's
why I did not get any of the, like Rutger fans, any one of these shitty teams in the Big Ten chiming in saying, talking shit. It's like, hey, guess what, buddy? The next time this happens, and probably within the next 10 years, this is going to be you. Your team's going to be on the chopping block.
Shitty teams? You mean like Nebraska?
Well,
like
if they have another decade run like they've had, then maybe.
They haven't been good in a very long time.
The Athletic came out with something after Oregon and Washington joined that was chronicling Rutgers and how their income is just exploded since they joined the Big Ten.
Yeah.
No shit. They came from the Big East. But you want to know what? Their running debt every year has also exploded because they're trying to keep up and they just can't. Yeah. And they just can't. And I will say, Oregon is lucky to have Phil Knight to subsidize some of this stuff, because if you want to be fair, 60,000 seat Autzen is never going to compete income wise with the top 5, 6, 7. Yeah, even Nebraska and there's just teams where it's just.
I did look at stadium capacities for the Big Ten. Autzen's kind of middle to bottom middle of it. I mean, it's not small it's not last by any means, but when you look at big house, you look at the top 3, it's like, ooh, these are pushing 100K and 90 some odd K.
Yeah,
it's like
Penn State has like 110 or whatever.
It's never mattered how bad they are either. Like Nebraska and Penn State always sell out. Everyone always wears the same colored shirts. It's like 100,000 people. It's unbelievable.
Well, when you have one centrally located team there.
Oregon's good, and they struggle, hitting 65.
Well, when you have one centrally located school there, where you almost pull the entire state from, Iowa State fans don't count in Iowa. It's just Iowa. They're all going to that. Yeah. If there was no Oregon State, all of a sudden you pull all the fans from all the split fans from Corvallis and Portland. Well, maybe you could fill 100,000 seat stadium then, but as of right now, no chance. Can't even fill a 55,000 stadium without lying about it.
Yeah, honestly, what else are people doing in Pennsylvania, Nebraska, and Iowa, anyways?
Well, yeah, and that's like kind of the thing. Is like
making chairs.
It's like Nebraska
making chairs.
A whittling. Like Nebraska is like a weird one where, and even like Iowa, some of those like they pull from other states. Where like if you live in the Dakotas, more so South Dakota or Wyoming, like you could be a huge Nebraska fan because a million years ago the big radio station was from Omaha. You know what I mean? Or Chicago picked up the Iowa feed, which fed into your little town. So it just kind of goes from there because there's nothing else around.
It's why you get fans here in town that are Braves and Cubs fans, because that's all you could watch on TV. You had TBS, had WGN.
WGN, yeah.
And if you don't have your own team like locally to support, you glom on to what you can watch the most.
Right. And like I've mentioned this before, but like when I was a kid, I'd go down to Southern California and visit my grandparents. And Dodger games were like not really on. Like they were, but not really. But every afternoon, what was on? WGN and the Cubs. Yep. Like I didn't become a Cubs fan because of it, but I watched way more Cubs games in Southern California than I did Dodger games because they were on. And it snowballs from there.
We all spent our childhoods being brainwashed by WGN and Harry Carey.
Pete Van Wieren and Skip Carey welcome you to Turner Field.
Absolutely. Yep.
TBS.
We gotta watch Sid Bream play baseball. That says enough. Mark Lemke. We know who Mark Lemke is as a baseball player.
There's no reason anybody should know who Mark Lemke is.
We thought Brian Jordan was one of the best athletes in the world because of TBS.
So what do we think of if we're saying, what's happening in the Big Ten is ridiculous, which I don't necessarily think it is. I think it's perfect. I'm really glad Oregon's not like sitting around because I was of the opinion that, get off your ass, get in a conference while you can, and make sure it's a good one. Don't stick around in this falling apart league and
apparently that's why
join with the Mountain West and San Diego State. You know what I mean? That's not the way to go if you're going to survive this landscape. What are you going to say?
But that's apparently why Oregon killed the comp. It was all Oregon that killed the conference.
Oh, sure. No, Oregon dictated everything. Yeah. Phil Knight in his tower having calls with, what's his name? The Big Ten commissioner or whatever. I forget his name.
I forget his name. I know the old one was Kevin Warren.
Yeah. That's not him?
No, he retired like a year ago.
Okay.
Like not even, like 2 months ago.
Because he's the one that made everything happen. Like he's
he's not.
No, he's the one who got. No, he's the one who got USC.
Oh, USC, UCLA.
Yeah. He got USC and then stole UCLA along with him, and then that started the whole thing. Yeah.
Oh,
we should probably really know. We should probably know who our commissioner's name is.
Should,
that is true. We are.
That's our bad. Floyd of Rosedale and Oaken Bucket.
We didn't know the Pac-12 commissioner's last name either, so quality.
We might have to find some Big Ten podcast and have like a crossover podcast with them, just so we can learn about our future coming in the Big Ten.
Would you like to know the man's name?
I would love to know his name.
His name is Tony. His last
Oh,
name
Petiti.
is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay,
yes.
thank you.
And I only now that you say that because I was like, Petit.
That's not how I was gonna pronounce it.
Yeah, I know that's how I read it too. I looked it up and it was it's a podcast and
This
Petiti.
man's name is Tony Petitti. That's what we're saying. I'm not calling another grown man Tony Petitti.
In fairness, his geographical circle it's a big areola, so it's a big.
Nice pair of patitties over there.
Oh Jesus! No, Ski, you can't do that. You can't say that after the movie podcast last week. you can't comment.
I'm still in 80s mode right now.
You
where
are.
Everything's just vulgar.
Yeah, Booble says that's Ski's kind of guy.
Oh yeah.
If you don't know what we're talking
Big
about,
old
listen to the
titty.
Turner and Hooch podcast from Sunday.
Just not around kids and probably not around women.
Yeah, not in the car with your family. Nope.
Women be fine with it.
Oh well, yeah. I would jam my log in your little moist slit.
Okay, Ski. Yeah. Okay.
Anything like that.
Yeah.
Anything like that.
Yeah.
No, I love that. I love that narrative you're trying to put out there for yourself. That's great. No, I support you in supporting yourself, man. Good luck. Good luck. I forgot why I brought it up. Oh yeah, because the Bay Area schools are trying to go to the ACC now, which might as well. I guess.
Was Washington State and Oregon State floated in there as well?
Oregon State made a call per news, and the ACC was like, "Okay, this will be our last call."
Yeah.
And Washington State, like why we love them, very self-aware, was like, "Yeah, we're not making that call.
Yeah,
we know how this is going to end."
And
I like how the biggest thing from Beaver fans saying like, "Oh, have fun traveling across the country." What do you do the first second? You try to contact the farthest away conference you can.
Could not be farther away. Yeah.
Every school.
Yeah.
I was
have fun. Have fun on your bus to Laramie, Beeves.
Yeah.
Like apparently the ACC has no interest in them though. So like Stanford and Cal have met to talk about their interest in the ACC, but the ACC has not said anything about it.
The ACC would only have interest in Stanford because Notre Dame is one of their traveling partners.
Makes sense, right? Yeah.
And then Cal is just a tag-along buddy.
Tangentially, Cal, but Notre Dame is never joining the ACC in football. Like they're just not, so it doesn't matter.
All right, so are we to think that just these schools, whatever's left of the four, they jump to the Mountain West, or are they going to try to hobble together some newfangled?
They tried to do that already, and they basically said no. Like San Diego State tried to get together the Mountain West and the remaining Pac-12 schools to form and by the way to become a Power 5 league, and basically it got shut down immediately.
The Mountain West said, "Really, San Diego State? You're trying this after you just tried to leave us? How about this? No.
Big no. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Even with possibly more money involved. I don't know if you.
I don't know where they would be getting much more money from.
If you're Power 5,
you have to form a new. If you form a new, they'd probably have to form a new TV deal.
Yeah, but see, here's the thing. I mean,
get that Apple deal on the table. Ooh.
If Oregon and Washington are valuable, and Stanford and Cal are potentially valuable, and ASU, the four corner schools are all valuable. Well, they really weren't, apparently, because they couldn't get value as 10. So there's no chance the Bay Area schools and Oregon State and Washington State are valuable.
You brought it up last week where that's the biggest sham of everything. Of these, they are major TV markets, and to the eyes of the TV people are pretty much worthless. If it's not the LA area not involved there, we don't want it.
It is wild how little value two of the one of the biggest markets in the country, the San Francisco Bay Area, and two of the highest ranked academic institutions in our entire country, how little value they have. And by the way, Stanford won a Rose Bowl a few years ago.
Won a couple.
Yeah,
and Stanford actually gets decent television ratings, and Of course, no one's beating the top of the SEC.
Yeah.
No one's beating Ohio State, Michigan. But for like outside of like 10 schools, Stanford weirdly gets okay TV ratings. Now they won't anymore because we're going on like year 4 of them being awful.
Yeah.
But
They
they had
barely
about a
have a
10-year
program.
run where they were okay. Cal, poor Cal. I feel so
I
bad
know,
for
I know.
Cal.
But by the way, like, does it hurt Stanford that they, have a 40,000 seat stadium and only fit like 15,000 in there every home game? Does that
Well,
hurt?
they did that with where they took the program.
Yeah.
That's why it hurt.
No,
If
I understand why Stanford has that, but does that hurt with them trying to join the conference?
Well, I would think so, because I think if all of this bullshit broke 10 years ago or 9 years, whatever, when Christian McCaffrey was finishing second in the Heisman, Andrew Luck was finishing second, Toby Gerhardt was finishing second in the Heisman, and they were going to Fiesta Bowls and Rose Bowls.
Yeah,
Man, they are probably in the Big Ten because the Big
1000%.
Ten looks at them and goes, "We can get Notre Dame."
Yeah,
But I'm trying to remember who their last game this year was against BYU, and I looked it up a couple like over the weekend. The announced attendance was like 15,000 people, and probably 10,000 of them were BYU fans.
Yeah.
And there was just no one there, and that's kind of been a thing for a couple years. But
we said it's a dead program. At least last year, if not 2 years ago, dead program.
So I was doing this running bit in my head where instead of Alex Jones, I'm Alex Germs, and I was talking about how COVID killed the Pac-12 because hey brother, But in fairness, I think there's something to it because like Cal does not count, but like Stanford and some of these other schools, their attendance the last 2 years after COVID have just monumentally fallen off a cliff.
No bounce back from it.
And of course, in 2020, there was just no one in the stands, period. And we can even look at Oregon, where last year it rebounded. But 2021, man, there were some games where you had to get into like November before it felt like odds again. They had about 3 or 4 home games.
I got to factor in that. I mean, we still had a mask mandate.
Oh, exactly.
So that was
100%. Totally. Like, people will circle back and say that 2020 was disastrous for the Pac-12. And listen, the Big 12 didn't start, or the Big 10 didn't start on time either. They started like 2 weeks before the Pac-10 that year, and Ohio State made it to not only the playoff, but the national title game. So kind of spare me on how much the first 7 weeks of that season mattered. But 2021, man, that season across the conference was just pretty rough on attendance. And I don't really think that's a big factor, but Alex Germs does.
Yeah, he does.
Frogs are gay.
You're not red enough for that, man.
No, I want to do a little tinfoil thing.
You need your tinfoil hat.
I heard Jackie Chan used to do a trick for movies when he needed to like turn his face red, where he would like actually hang upside down for a while and get all the blood in his head. He'd do that for like a few minutes. So maybe you should do that before we start the podcast.
David, isn't that how David Carradine died?
I think that was a little different.
While masturbating.
Well, he was tied to a door, but
oh, okay.
Wow, that is.
I'm not trying to kink shame.
I mean, yeah, I brought up Jackie Chan. You brought up Carradine. Okay, cool.
What were you talking about?
Cool.
Red face hanging upside down. I thought Carradine died upside down.
That's where my head goes when I think about a flush red face. I think about.
Thank you for fact checking me,
autoerotic asphyxiation.
Alex Carradine did not die upside down masturbating. He was right side up.
Yeah,
it's good to hear. Good to hear. Like God intended. I do like this from Nuttian in the chat, by the way. He says, very excited for super great quality 4K cameras with Fox Sports. Very good point.
100%.
Very good point. Yeah. By the way, that's the only reason I was excited about the possible Apple TV deal is because they have the best cameras in the business. But now Fox, fantastic. Yes, please.
And for as much as we all deservedly bang on John Canzano, and boy, that man is going down very sad with the ship. I mean, he's got the fiddle out on the Titanic, and she's down bad, man. But he was the first one a couple years ago in 2021 to really nail ESPN to the cross on being like, why is this Oregon-Washington State game look like it's on an antenna that you're moving in the snow?
They sent the D
What?
team. Yeah. They literally
Yeah.
they literally
Oh, we sent
investigated. Yeah.
Yeah. We sent a truck from 1988. Sorry.
Yeah, but does the Big Ten not do that for Northwestern games?
Well, I mean,
It's Fox.
I mean,
like the worst
well, the Big
stuff
Ten
Fox
network
has
games.
yeah.
I'm sure the Big Ten network games aren't great, but
Ooh. That's something. No more Pac-12 network. Where's Yogi Roth going? Can we get Yogi Roth to the Big Ten?
He's part of the deal with Washington, Oregon.
Yeah.
Yogi Roth.
No, if anything, he's part of the USC deal.
Oh,
yeah.
He was first in.
I think he used to coach for them or something, right? Didn't he coach with?
Yeah, for a couple years under Pete Carroll. Yeah.
Yeah.
I did know that the Pac-12 network was officially fucking doomed. 2021, I gave him a break, right?
It was very clear when that started to happen.
But it's at 2021, right after COVID. You're in San Francisco. The rules are different for people in your studio. I get it. Last year, when they're like, oh, here's Max Olson and Aiden Bumpus and Aiden, it just these people are like, USC quarterback 2008, Pitt Panther 2008 to 12. He played at Pitt. Why is it? It just last year was so sad, and I've defended the Pac-12 network where I'm like, their content is good. Yeah. They hired really great people, but man,
boy,
once Yammer was fired,
yeah, no. Do you remember when they started? How great that content was!
Oh, like Neuheisel,
Ronnie Lott. They had like
it was so good. It was great.
Yam and Ashley
Yammer.
Allison hosting
Yammer.
Dude, Mike Yam's the best, man. Like the absolute best. Like he should have been on somebody bigger than the Pac-12 network back then. I'm glad he's on. Like,
I think
ESPN now.
My guess is he loved the lifestyle of just living in like Palo Alto and just being like, hey, check out this Arizona State Wazoo game.
I love that he lost his job with Pac-12 Network and became an NFL Network correspondent for the 49ers. Yeah. It was like perfect. Like, yes, please. Give me more Yammer.
Yeah. He was what?
Where will Aliotti go? Said Nutty.
See, that's the thing is that again, this is not even an Aliotti slam because I think he's very enjoyable on TV.
For sure.
But last year when I was like, oh, he's the biggest star on the Pac-12 network now, which is fine. He's good, but
is it?
Boy, they've really.
Yeah. Does anybody outside of Oregon know who the hell he is? You know,
no.
Like we do. We love him. We love the Bud Light comment after the Wazoo game and talking shit about Leach to his face. Like we love that stuff, but nobody else knows about that. You know.
I mean, did Aliotti actually even want to be there? Also, I mean,
no, he was really good. Like if in fairness, if you watch, so they would travel not every week, probably 8 or 9 weeks out of the year. The Pac-12 network would travel somewhere, and the content is garbage because they're showing up at a Utah game 3 hours before it starts, and there's no one there.
Nobody's watching either.
Yes, but he was still good. The rest of the content, nah. But he was good. He could definitely sell a shit sandwich. So.
I mean, he ain't moving to the Midwest for the Big Ten network. Like,
no, he's
absolutely not. Nor should he.
His life is good. Yeah. He's content. That PERS check is fantastic. He's fine.
Yeah. I mean, they're going to have some West Coast broadcasters because I guarantee all these Big Ten guys don't know who the fuck any of the teams or players really are.
Well, you don't think Boom Herron? You don't think Anthony Boom Herron is deeply entrenched in UCLA football?
I bet they have a West Coast crew, right?
Pete Carroll. I would assume so.
I would assume so.
Yeah. There you go. You got Yogi. Who's the dude who does the Rams games now? What's that dude's name?
I don't catch too many fucking Rams games.
JB Long.
Oh, JB Long.
Yeah. JB Long was like the play-by-play guy. You got Roxy Bernstein still out here. You still got some good play-by-play guys.
Can we hire Petros into there?
Petros P, baby.
Petro. Over the weekend, I can't remember who it was, but someone did a retweet of Petros from when Oregon hired Dan Lanning, and they did a big thread on basically what a hypocrite he is. Because when Oregon hired, and I do remember, I mentioned this on the podcast. when Oregon hired Dan Lanning, he's like, Oregon's lost their way.
Right.
They're all about the money. They're all about the hype, blah, 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 blah. And Petros, in fairness, has generally been a supportive Pac-12 Oregon guy. But he's like, they've lost their way. And then, 4 months later, his alma mater goes to the Big Ten and he's like, oh, this is the thing. And then Oregon goes, see, I told you, they've lost their way. Come on, man.
It's a pretty good Petros impersonation, by the way. That's not bad. It's not bad. Oh, man. Booble, and I do too, by the way. He's one of my favorites.
Yeah, I think he's good. I'm not even trying to make this a slam. Like, Nick Daschle, you're a loser. Petros Papadakis, I like you.
Yeah, generally. By the way, Booble with a good reminder. You thought Oregon got too many Tim Brando games before? Oof, yeah. He's not wrong, dude. I forgot all about that. Man, here we are having a great... You know what? Don't watch the Twitch stream. Don't get in the chat. We don't like you anymore. I was having a good time. You bring up Tim Brando.
Rule 1 of the podcast chat. Yeah. Brando's name is not to be mentioned.
Stricken from the record.
Tim Brando. Oh, my God.
Also from Nuttian in the chat. Very excited to hear Gus Johnson never sound excited for an Oregon TD. Yeah.
Touchdown, Barner.
Touchdown, Oregon.
Go up.
Marquise Lee!
20-yard gain. The best.
The best. That game has given us endless fodder. It's
it really has, man. And we shared the picture the other day of the USC fan flipping off Barner while he's celebrating. God, it's too good.
God, it's so good.
It's too good. All right, do we have anything else to talk about? Like, because I feel like this is going to be another one where we just have the one topic, and that's it.
Oh, I will say you don't see someone get put on their ass in a fight in sports too often.
There you go.
Man, I felt so bad for Tim Anderson.
I don't think he's made contact with the baseball since he got put down. I think he struck out he got hit by a pitch once and struck out every other time.
Well, I just felt bad because it's one thing to just get straight up knocked out. Like, oh man, that man caught me good. He wasn't even looking. He just wildly threw a open-fisted wrister at him
and landed perfectly.
I told my kid, because my kid is just, TikTok was going nuts, just edits. And I just told him, I was like, hey man, if you ever get in a fight, giving someone a black eye is cool, but that's going to really hurt. Aim for the jaw. It doesn't matter. You got to be in the top 1% of the 1% to eat that shit. And just go for the job because he wasn't even looking.
Yeah. I mean, there's a couple of places on the face that will cause harm. The jaw is generally one of them. Right here is another
Temple
one.
Shot,
this is really hard to hit though. So don't aim for that. Yeah.
Yeah. Also to get knocked out. I don't think he was knocked out, but to get put down when your teammate is physically grabbing the guy too, when you're untouched.
And then Eloy Jimenez gets hurt too. It was beautiful. Yeah. That was a beautiful fight. How many baseball fights or sports fights in general have there been that were where there was actually a punch landed?
Real punch, not since the 80s NBA.
Odor.
No, Odor on Joey Bats.
Yeah, that's it.
There was a Reds Cardinals fight probably the year before COVID. I think it was pregame where a Reds reliever got pushed up against the net and started using his spikes as a weapon on people's faces. That was cool.
When was that?
I think it was 2018, 2019.
Jesus.
Where the Cardinals.
Was that the Reds guy that charged their bench?
No, I'm pretty sure it was. I think it was a pregame. I think it was a pregame thing, and a reliever got pushed up against the net and just started kicking, and then Aroldis Chapman. That's against women.
Too many athletes get away with that. Just running full speed at a group of 10 guys, by themselves, acting like they're wanting to fight all of them. Someone's
going to grab you within 10 seconds. So it's all right, don't get knocked out in the first 5 or 10 seconds and you're good.
Yeah, but if you try to do that, it's outside of a stadium. So say you try to do that in the parking lot of that stadium. You're just a normal guy, or even you're the athlete running at like 15 people. You get your ass handed to you.
We see what happens in parking lot fights after sporting events.
Do, man. They're brutal. That's what I'm saying.
Charger fans get thrown in off a bridge into a lake, a fake lake.
Like fake
shit's rough out there, man.
Like fake
Stop fighting.
Athlete aggression, acting like they actually want to fight people, man.
But also athletes fighting is just dumb. Like it's one thing if you're like Axl Rose and you're just like, don't hit me in the vocal cord, you can break my hands or whatever. But like you break your hand as a baseball player, like, wow, I'll see you in 8 weeks, you idiot. It's insane.
It's literally money. It's literally money.
It just doesn't it doesn't quite compute.
Then you add on this. You see the suspensions for it.
Was it
Anderson
twice as much,
and Ramirez gets 3.
Yeah,
that's perfect.
Yeah,
win the fight, get the lighter suspension.
And I love how Ramirez is kind of apologizing for it, and Anderson. Now I don't feel bad for Anderson. And Anderson is on Twitter being like, "People moving in the bushes in darkness. Come see me, man. People done changed up." Man, just make a joke out of it. Like literally, if Tim Anderson went to bed that night, right? Logged on his Twitter account the next morning or Instagram or whatever, right? There are all sorts of memes about him. If he just posts one with an upside down smiley emoji, he's in everyone's good graces again.
Well, from that brawl on the docks in Alabama, did you see the? I don't know if it's actually the guy. Did you see the video of the guy with the black eyes and stuff? Like,
right,
man, that old guy could really throw hands.
That 65-year-old.
65.
So I mean, that's how you play. It's like, man,
that's how you play it.
We
like,
fucked up. That's just our bad.
None of us are out here be like, oh, we're rough and tumble street fighters.
Oh, I'm not fighting anybody. Yeah.
No, but when we were younger, we've all probably gotten into a fight. It isn't fun. It hurts. Like, it hurts when you win sometimes, and it really hurts when you lose. Just make fun of it. It's just part of fighting. It's not that big of a deal, Tim Anderson. Just laugh at yourself. Generally,
it's supposed to happen, right? Like you get in the fight, and then your aggression is then out of you, and you're not as mad anymore, right? Isn't that generally the way it works? And then you laugh, and then you move on because you're a professional athlete and you don't have a choice. You're gonna have to play these people again and be in the same place again.
You're in the same division.
Yeah, you're gonna see each other a lot. So get over it. Yeah. Myles Garrett swinging his helmet at the Steelers quarterback.
Oh God, that
was soft too, man. Like,
well, that was such a weird story because
then
everyone
came out with the racial slur and like
everyone instantly goes to the racial stuff.
Yeah,
and I'm like, I don't think Mike Tomlin would have trotted out this white supremacist at quarterback the next week, who's not good, if he was really saying that stuff. Like, Big Ben, Mason Rudolph. I don't think Tomlin's going for that.
Does Big Ben win enough to where he could say racial slurs for Pittsburgh?
At that point, I don't know. He didn't really. I don't know.
Booble with some inappropriate ski comments in the chat that I'm not going to repeat on the podcast. So,
well, before we get to our top 3, I feel like I need to mention the coaches poll, right?
Yeah.
And so Oregon lands 15th. Okay, fair, not, I don't know. But our conference brethren, Washington, 11, USC 6, Penn State 7, Ohio State 4, Michigan 2. You know, go Big Ten. Go Big Ten.
Did they not sneak Iowa in there at like 24, 25?
Iowa is 26.
Oh, man.
They are 17 votes behind Texas A&M.
I was going to say, like, who's the one voter who screwed him over? 17.
Tyler Shuck, though. Tyler Shuck and the Red Raiders, number 24.
Not for long, am I right? I have no
Oregon State, the favorite in the Mountain West at number 18.
Go Mountain West.
The whack.
Oh, Wisconsin, number 21. Who do you think will be Oregon's rival out of the Big Ten? Is it going to be Wisconsin? Is that who we're going to get force-fed with?
I hope not, because
I think it's
they've
probably
been
going to
jamming down our throats for years.
I think it's probably going to be Washington.
Well, no, I'm not. Well, no, I'm not counting any of the West Coast teams. But out of the traditional Big Ten,
I hope it turns into like Minnesota. We just get a curb stomp them every year.
just sink the boat.
That's
And
a really
I
good
feel like
question.
Minnesota
I'm
fans are
fine.
probably,
I honestly want it to be like Nebraska, because people will still be like, oh, "It's a good win over Nebraska." Like, I haven't made a bowl game in 14 years.
Nebraska fans are going to be chirping like from their 30 years ago. Nebraska. I think Minnesota fans are nice and they just know what happened.
Nebraska lost to Willie Taggart. I don't want to hear it from them. They hired Mike Riley and then lost to Willie Taggart. I don't want to hear from them.
I'm trying to think of who I would want. I don't know. Like, I feel like Washington and Iowa are a good fit.
Like in fantasy land, I would kind of like it to be Penn State.
Yeah, that's
because I feel like talent wise, they're generally equitable enough. And Penn State's pretty rad. It'll never be Ohio State. It'll never be Michigan. It won't even be Penn State. That's why I'm kind of thinking Wisconsin might be the tier that they are forced on. But
Wisconsin or Penn State would be great. I'd love it.
I think either would be fun.
Yeah.
I just say Penn State selfishly. So like every 6th year they get the NBC game where they're kicking off at a whiteout, at 5 p.m.
Please. Yes, please. Or like Washington and Michigan State. There. I think that's a better fit.
They play this year.
Yeah,
they played last year.
That's a better fit. Okay. All right, should we do our list?
That's a rival I don't want.
Which
those
one?
Michigan State.
Sparty, gross.
When they came to Autzen, they're just nonstop. Everyone makes fun of the USC band for playing the same song all the time. Some people make fun of the U of O band for playing Louie Louie 50 times a game. The Michigan State fans just going, "Go green, go white, go green," just literally for 3 straight hours. I was like,
can you imagine?
I have wanted to fight one person in the stands before that, ever, and not since. But now I wanted to push these 2 guys over. I'm so overhearing, "Go green, go white." I'm like, it's halftime. No one's even playing. No one on the other side can hear you. Stop it.
You're 2 people. Only we can hear you.
Oh.
Oh, shit. All right, let's do our list, yeah?
Yeah.
What's our list? It was your
our
idea,
list,
right? Yeah.
Our list is in solidarity with our new big friends in the Midwest.
Yeah.
And the Atlantic and the Pacific. Whatever. Top 3 worst traditional Big Ten states.
I made a list of all of the states with the new additions, all of the states that have Big Ten teams now. Would you like to hear them? Can you guess?
I would love to
can
hear.
You guess off the top of your head how many there are? So 16 teams, right? So how many states are involved?
Nebraska, Wisconsin, Minnesota, Iowa, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Rutgers, Maryland. 8?
I don't think Rutgers
9?
is technically a state, but yeah.
Well, yeah.
It's 14. 14. Isn't that crazy?
That is crazy.
That is crazy.
I was not aware of that.
Russell, were you aware of that? No, I was not aware of that. All right, who wants to start? So we're going with the traditionals, like the new ones don't count. Like we can't include Washington. Okay.
No.
Mine's simple and easy. Number 3, Nebraska.
Yeah. You don't really need to explain it. I mean, there's corn, I guess, but yeah.
Nebraska.
My number 3 worst Big Ten state, Pennsylvania. They work in mills and deal with rust.
Amish.
Gotta say, there might be like 2 good states out of all of them. I don't know. Like, my number 3 is Iowa. Like, it's fucking Iowa. What is there in Iowa? Maybe we need to be educated. Maybe that's
It's
what
corn.
it is.
Yeah, the corn kid. And it's big, dumb, it's nice and juicy.
Yeah.
That's my favorite rivalry in the Big Ten is Nebraska and Iowa because they argue over corn.
Yeah.
Who has the
And
most
everyone
corn?
knows that Iowa corn is actually superior to Nebraska corn.
Hey.
Much like Oregon potatoes are superior to Idaho potatoes.
Yeah.
They just get the pub because we have better things to do, even though the famous brand is called Ida. We have the first name. You're the special guest. It's Oregon, Idaho. Top billing.
Everybody knows that. Yeah.
Everybody knows
I don't even
that.
know why we're saying it, but yeah.
My number 2, like I said, goes in Nebraska, is Iowa. Because they have battles over who has like the biggest hill in the state at 50 feet.
Biggest hill in
Cool.
the state.
Can you imagine some of these fans coming to Eugene and looking at not Spencer's Butte, Skinner's Butte, and being like, ooh,
Man.
majestic. Yeah, it takes 9 minutes to walk up. You'll be fine.
My number 2 is Indiana.
Oh,
There might not be a more overrated state in the Midwest than Indiana. Like they have Notre Dame, and they skate so much on the fact that they have Notre Dame in them, and there's like Indiana basketball. Like who fucking cares?
well, Indiana knows they're Indiana, so Indiana just kind of does the look at us, we're just over here.
Yeah,
Go
yeah.
boiler up. While Iowa and some of the other states are being very vocal about how awesome they are. They're just like, our basketball team still wears striped pants. Hoosiers. My number 2 worst Big Ten state, New Jersey, because Bruce Springsteen, it really fucking sucks, and only white sports writers like his songs.
Why does he represent American music?
Because we're idiots.
Yeah. Can you
It's got the guy from Sopranos and Mitch Weinberg. They're in his band.
Max Weinberg?
Matt Weinberg. Mitch Hedberg.
Yeah. If Mitch Hedberg were in his band, I would be a fan. Just a whole bunch
Governor's Chris Christie. I don't think he still is, but that's the joke.
They just like play the guitar, and then Hedberg says a bunch of one-liners over and over again for 3 hours. That sounds like a Springsteen concert. Yeah, you know what? I was gonna do a different one. My number 1's New Jersey too, for the same reason.
We're a shitty fucking state.
For the same reason.
I thought
Philadelphia's cooler than we are.
I thought this was going to be a clean sweep at number 1, and that's Ohio by a landslide.
My number 1 is Ohio too. Just
by a landslide in number 1. Yes,
just the worst state is Ohio.
It is terrible. Yeah, that was going to be my number 1, but you convinced me with Springsteen. So
if they didn't have LeBron, there's nothing interesting.
They have LeBron and Bone Thugs. That's kind of
having a little lottie. I'm gonna go eat some lettuce.
Just listen to Joe Kim Noah. Call it good. That's our feelings on Ohio. Yeah.
God, we can really do. We got to work on a bit with Bone Thugs versus Bruce Springsteen.
Ooh.
Once Big Ten season comes.
Could go. I think Bon Jovi's from Jersey as well. Could even go Bon Jovi. Man. No. He's from.
See, I do. There's
he's
a
from
couple.
Pennsylvania, actually. I think.
Is he? Well, I think you're right.
Either Jersey or from Pennsylvania.
I think it's Pennsylvania because he owned the Philadelphia Soul, I believe.
Yeah. So
Ron Jaworski for a minute. Yeah. Jaws, baby. Edge NFL prime matchup with Susie Colbert, Jaws, and Hodgie.
Merrill
Hodge.
Did Hodge just disappear? Is he?
Yeah, like he disappeared because he actually had like really serious like CTE issues. So and then Trump came and COVID came and he became pretty radicalized. And
so he's on Fox now?
No, he's too toxic for Fox even.
Oh. That's something.
John Bon Jovi.
Too toxic for Fox.
John Bon Jovi, born in Perth Amboy, New Jersey, United States.
Oh,
it's
got to be a border to Philly, though. That's got to be like a Philly sub.
Yeah, he was like the founder and former majority owner of the Arena Football League team, the Philadelphia Soul.
Gotta have soul.
Wanted, dead or alive. He'll walk these streets.
Yeah, he's flat out from New Jersey. Went to high school in New Jersey and everything. Spent
He
summers.
plays for keeps.
Spent summers in Pennsylvania with his grandparents. Thank you, Wikipedia.
He might not make it back.
So you guys were both right, technically. All right, anything else before we bounce? I forgot to say the movie podcast at the start of the episode. So
Say the movie podcast.
Sunday,
What movie did we watch and when?
Dog Days of Summer theme is War Dogs, which is on Hulu. The Jonah Hill and Max Teller?
Miles.
Miles.
Jonah Hill's been canceled.
What's been canceled?
Jonah Hill's a weirdo.
yeah.
Read the news.
Yeah. No, I know. I just didn't hear what you said. Yes, he has.
His girl's a surfer, but you can't wear a swimsuit. I'm Bruce Springsteen.
And what did she do? Like, what did he do? He made her like wear the same exact clothes as him to all of the premieres or whatever. That's weird.
Pretty fucking weird.
Pretty fucking weird. Yeah.
And I'm from New Jersey. I find it weird.
All right, let's go because I don't want to hear that anymore.
Jonah Hill, you're not a blonde.
Bye. Sunday movie podcast, War Dogs. It's on Hulu. Watch it. Listen to us talk about it. Bye.